Passing through the veil of mystery, seeking answers no one is brave to ask. This is Bound to Truth.
Hey everyone, welcome to Bound to Truth. Today you're going to listen to an awesome episode with the She-Squatchers, Jen and Jena. Unfortunately missing Tammi. Hoping next time when I have them on again, we'll have Tammi on as well. This is a great, fantastic episode. They have been introduced to me from Randy Bauer. I've heard many times on the podcast regarding his Bigfoot experience on his huge acre land in Minnesota. But definitely want you to have a great listen to them. It's not just about the Bigfoot experience, but also the psychic abilities and their bond that they have as a group, and as not just a group, but as friends and just soulmates. So definitely take a listen. Enjoy the podcast. And again, how can you listen to us? BoundTruth34 BoundTruth34 at gmail.com for questions, comments. If you want to be a part of the show, X, Facebook, YouTube, Amazon, Spotify, Buzzsprouts, as well as, what's the other one? Oh, Apple, and then also on Instagram. So please take a listen. This is a great episode. They're fantastic, and just had a lot of fun with them. And by the way, I was very nervous in this podcast because that's how amazing they are. As always, until next time, see you on the other side. Good night.
Hey everybody, welcome to Bound to Truth. I have some very special lady guests here today. And actually, I've been doing this for about a year and a half. And I don't get nervous on interviews. And I'm already kind of giddy when I talk to them before because I'm actually really, really nervous because these are beautiful ladies and I just feel like, oh my goodness.
Like, he thinks we're pretty.
Yeah, I just bow down to the ladies here. There's wonderful and beautiful, and I'm kind of intimidated, and I don't know why, and I'm I shouldn't be. But anyways, again, case in point, I'm rambling. I have the She-Squatchers here, Jen and Jena. Ladies, how you doing?
Awesome.
Fabulous.
Thanks for having us.
No,
and we're missing Tammi.
Yeah, who's the other person we're missing again?
Tammi.
So where is Tammi? Why can't she make it tonight?
She's at kickboxing.
Yes.
Okay.
She's a serious kickboxer.
She's a black belt. She'll kick your butt.
Right.
That's what Tammi. And it's funny, that's my mother's name. So another good reason not to mess with Tammi. So that's good. That's just a scary thought. Again, even now I'm more nervous. So hopefully I just do a good job of interviewing you, and hopefully Tammi doesn't say I'm gonna threaten you because you did a terrible job interviewing these two beautiful ladies. But anyways, thank you for being here and spending some time. I've talked with Randy Bauer, who's just, I don't have to tell you this, an amazing gentleman, just a heck of a guy with experience in his own experiences and loves to share his stories. Again, he's a talkative guy. We talked to you again. You and I talked about that. And he's really talked highly about you ladies for quite some time. And I've been fortunate for him to introduce us and so forth. And so basically, you ladies, the She-Squatchers, I want to hear a bit of your origin story so our audience can understand, expand your platform, as well as to kind of go over some of the stories with yourself and your personal experience separate and together and just kind of build from there. So who wants to go first?
So the question was, you wanted to know how we started?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, like I said, you're maybe the DJ person. I've been this for a year and a half, so I'm getting my bearings. And so basically, so what's the origin story? So let's how about this? So let's do this. Jen, how about this? What's your origin story when it comes to, the phenomenon with Bigfoot and so forth? And then we'll go with you, Jena, and then we'll talk about how your relationship you guys developed with the She-Squatchers, then kind of go from there. So you go ahead and go first, Jen.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to start off by saying all of us are psychic mediums, and we were doing paranormal stuff before we got into Bigfoot.
Okay.
And so Jena and I have been friends for about 25 years. 25 years. So when I was just a little bitty baby,
25 years young. You guys look great. I'm telling you.
Right. Anyway, so I was doing paranormal radio and into the ghost stuff mostly, actually. And Lauren Coleman, the cryptozoologist who has the International Cryptozoology Museum in the state of Maine, happened to come to my home state of Minnesota to speak at our Paracon convention. And so I was there for my show, and I asked him for an interview, and he said yes. To be honest, I did not believe in Bigfoot at that time. I just thought this would be a good interview for my show. So I sat down with him for about an hour in person, and we talked, and he convinced me and assured me that Bigfoot was in my home state of Minnesota and that I should go out with some women. He wanted somebody to take some women into the woods without men, dogs, or guns, because he thought that would be the recipe for success in getting close to and interacting with Bigfoot. And he challenged me, dared me to go and try this out. And at first I jokingly volunteered, like, okay, I'll go get him. Hey there, big boy, type thing. But by the end of the interview, I was like, seriously, I'm going to try it. I will do it. I will try. So there were some ladies there who were paranormal investigators at the conference that I was at. So I just asked them because I thought, well, they have night vision cameras. We need that if we're going to go out at night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, those cameras that they use for haunted houses and investigating do not light up the forest at night. But we learned that the hard way. And I also learned the hard way that they were not Bigfoot people.
Whoa.
Yeah, we had an encounter our very first night out, and that was very much, partially a good selection of location where there had been a recent sighting, and the other part was, I'm psychic. I thought, can we use that ability to get closer to Bigfoot and be put in the spot where Bigfoot is? And the answer is yes, we can. Okay. So here we are having an encounter, and it was scary. The ladies were like, they didn't want to do it. They're like, get in the car, let's go. They really didn't want to after we had an encounter. Anyway, so I go home after that weekend, and I'm hooked, because either when you have an encounter, either you're hooked or you don't want to do it ever again. Right. I mean, it's one or the other, right? And I was hooked. So I go home and I meet up with Jenna, and, I was embarrassed to tell anybody that I was going to go looking for Bigfoot. But then when I had an encounter, now I was excited to do it again, and I needed somebody to do it with me. And so I tell Jenna, and she was mad. Oh, she was mad. She was so mad at me.
Can I just interrupt here? So I'm with Jen, and she's like, and she was very timid and shy, and she's usually not that way with me. And she said, Jenna, I've got something to tell you, to talk to you about. And she was just, and I thought, what's wrong? But she told me, she told me about what they did, what they found, and I was mad. I was like, why didn't you tell me? But everything worked out fabulous, because from that day I was like gung-ho. And like Jen said, you're either in it or you're not. You can't go both ways.
Right. Wow. That's amazing. And when you said, just make sure I got this right. So it wasn't Bigfoot that you said, was it something else or?
No, it was Bigfoot.
Oh, it was big. Okay. Gosh. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Yep. Okay. And then you both got hooked. And then, and really quick, you said all three of you are psychics. I know, Jen, you are, but all three of you. And you both knew each other for 25 years. And, you both knew each other for 20 years. I'm not sure about Tammi. So how did that all come to be? How did that come to that discovery? I mean, it's not like you come out and say, hey, I'm psychic, depending on people and how they embrace that statement. So how did that kind of come up to be?
Well, I mean, I was a child knowing that I was different because I was scaring my parents. And I very quickly sensed that they were afraid of me when I would say certain things. So I learned what not to say.
Okay.
And so I learned to hide it. And some things I couldn't stop because they would just fly out of my mouth. It wasn't even a thought first. And I would say things like, Great Aunt Gladys just died. And she had just died. I mean, we got the call that she died at that time. So, I mean, it creeped my parents out, to be honest. And so I learned to hide it. as best as I could. When I was in my 30s, last week,
You still, hey, I look older than you. You're good. Trust me.
So when I was in my 30s, I learned Reiki, and that made me embrace my abilities. I had been trying to fight it and push it away and push it down and make it go away. It would never go away, but I wasn't embracing it. And I finally embraced it in my 30s, and the door to that just flew wide open, and I came out of the psychic closet.
Well said. No.
Huh?
I said, well said. I like that. That's
Yes.
good. Yeah. So, okay. And then for you, Jenna, a little bit about your origin. I heard about hers about, doing Bigfoot and not telling you about it and got pissed. I totally get it. I'd be pissed too. So what about you?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your story, your origin story, how you kind of got in this.
I guess I just thought it was normal. We are who we are, and if you know things, you just know them. But I didn't really have a lot of people to talk about it with. But I actually eventually went into looking for evidence for ghosts, like actual evidence, and I was having seances and all these other things. And from then on out, I started really experiencing some things in the house and with myself. And so after that, just moved all over the world, or moved all over the United States for a while, and then then wow, Jen, the question. I said yes. Was that enough?
No, that's
I don't talk about myself a lot.
No, that's totally okay. And what would you say for you both ladies? I know you said, Jen, that you talked about how you had an early age when it comes to your psychic abilities. What about you, Jen? When you kind of realized that I had this gift, these abilities, and so forth, was that at an early age too? Was that kind of later on, like, I have this? What kind of like dawned on you? I have this ability.
Jenna, that was for you.
Oh,
Right.
I thought you were asking Jen, so I was looking at Jen like, answer it.
Jen, I just a little note. I got held back in first grade by my mom because I mumbled. I've been working on my speech for many years, so sorry about that. That was a question for you, Jenna. I'm sorry. I'll make sure.
Okay.
Jenna. Sorry about that, Jen.
Okay, no problem. I'm embarrassed now.
Yeah.
So I didn't even remember the question because I wasn't listening. I was waiting for Jen to answer.
No, because I was mumbling. It's all good. When did you kind of like find out about your ability when it comes to that psychic ability? Like when it kind of dawned on you, hey, I have this gift. Was that kind of like early age? Was later on in your life? What kind of dawned on you?
I think, well, it was early because you experience things. You experience, communication that you don't understand, like with spirit, with knowing things, with dreaming. I was a big dreamer, so I would get prophetic dreams. So I would start getting like, just trouble coming, and so I would just pay attention to my dreams. That was my main thing. And then after I started working with the dreams more, then everything else happened. I mean, everything else started flooding in.
Okay.
So,
all right, cool. So interesting. So let me ask you these ladies questions. You said Tammi as well as a psychic, right? Is that correct? Okay. All three of you psychics. Is there a particular gift that you guys have that one is strong in one area and the other is strong in a different area that really complement all three of you? And if so, what is that?
Well, I am probably the strong remote viewer, but I've taught them how to do it, and we can all do it now, and we use that to our benefit, because if I find a spot where I'm seeing something, I put a GPS coordinate next to it and I send it to them and I ask them to tell me, what they're seeing there, and if they're finding the same thing there, then we call that a good hit. Because psychics aren't always 100% accurate, although I don't think I've been wrong, but still, we like that.
Really? You just said that?
Well, it's like that inspect what you expect, trust but verify type of thing, right?
Right, but it's good to verify it. Anyway, and Jenna is really good at danger. Like, I'll give you an example of that. So I had just gotten a new piece of a night vision equipment, and my mom was out in the country at her boyfriend's house, And so I thought, well, I'm going to go out there where it's really dark and I'm going to test it out. So I was going out there, and Jenna's on the phone with me. I'm not even there yet. And she says, Jen, the danger in the darkness is real. And I was like, okay. And I don't think she knew what that meant either. It just kind of flew out of her mouth. Anyway, so I was like, okay. Well, so later that night, I'm outside in the dark in the country with this new night vision thing, and it lights the night up like the day.
Okay.
Except for when I would point it in one direction and it wouldn't light it up. And I was like, why isn't it working? I'd point it here, it worked, point it there, it didn't work, point it here. It's just this one spot, it wouldn't light it up. Anyway, I hear something. My mom is standing behind me, and I hear something in the direction where I'm pointing it, and it's not showing anything. And I hear something go, "Oof." And I'm like, well, now I really want to see what's over there. And then it starts making noise like it's running at us. And my mom, here's me still trying to make it work, still standing still doing that. My mom took off running to the building. And she got to the building and realized I was not behind her. I'm still standing there trying to make
Wait. Your mom ran first?
Yeah.
She left you there? Oh, wow. I'm teasing.
She thought I was behind her, I think. I mean,
I'm sorry. I'm terrible.
Smart people would run, right?
Why would you leave me behind? Well, wasn't it obvious? Anyways.
So she turns around and realizes I'm not behind her, and she yells, Jennifer, get in here right now. And I'm like, but Mom. And then I remember Jenna screaming, Jennifer, the danger in the darkness is real. And I was like, oh yeah, I better go. And I hightailed it to the building, and Mom slammed the door, and she was worried something was going to come right through, because it was like what they call a bluff charge. That was definitely what was happening, because it was running at us.
Wow.
So yeah, that was good. I mean, I probably wouldn't have run to the building if Jenna hadn't said that to me, because I was wanting to get my camera to work and see what was coming.
So you owe Jenna one or many, probably, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah.
So you got a life debt with Jenna. Got it. Okay. Makes sense.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes. And then Tammi, she sees anybody can see auras. I can see auras. It just takes me a minute to really focus, and I have to try. Mm-hmm. Tammi can just see them.
Wow.
She's not trying too hard. She's just like, yeah, there it is. And I often felt jealous about that. And then I thought, it probably isn't a good thing for me to see auras readily, because there's probably a lot of people that I've helped in my life that I probably would have not gone anywhere near them if I could have seen their aura right away.
So would Tammi be kind of more of a when you ladies are hanging out and kind of do your thing? Would she kind of come up to you and say, "That's not a good. Maybe we should stay away from that person in particular"? Would she do something like that when it comes to?
Oh heck, she breaks in. We all do. If there's anybody around us that we don't trust, we are like bunk, bunk, bunk. I mean, we will protect each other through everything. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like that. Like kind of like you have your particular warning sign. It's almost like, and again, I'm just barely meeting you ladies here. Is that we got Jen here who's like, I'm the head of the spear. I'm going to go after what's out there. I want to see what's going on.
But that's really not me. Jenna's more fearless than I am, for real.
Really? Okay.
Tammi and I jump. We run. We go. Jen is really good she's good at everything, but we're the ones that run and jump.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
After it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect. So now here's a curious question. So with Tammi, when it comes to the aura reads and so forth, is it where you have to be in person? Is it kind of like where we're doing video? How does that kind of work in that, or is it just again, that's an ignorant question for me because I don't know nothing about it.
Video, pictures, in person, it doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
And like I said, we can all do that. I mean, if it's something I'm supposed to know, if somebody posts a picture online, I'm like, whoa, something's wrong with them, that I can see they're sick or something, something's wrong.
Interesting.
And we can all do that, so sometimes I'll be like, check this out. we have a group chat where for the three of us, and like we like sharing a picture, be like, oh my gosh, check out this person, and we'll all say what we are feeling from the picture and whatever. But yeah.
Wow. That's really cool.
It's really wonderful to have us three, because we can really bounce ideas and thoughts and feelings off of each other. I mean, this friendship is to the death.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah, that's it's basically it's better to have few friends than many acquaintances. That's always been my thing, especially getting older. I think we can all agree with that. But yeah, it's because just what is it? I guess how you say this? It's almost like dating. It's where it's like, when you're younger, it's like, I can have all the fun I want. And then when you get older, it's like, I got to think of all the consequences to all the stuff that I'm doing, right? So you're really careful about those relationships. So with you three ladies, how did the She-Squatchers come out? How did that form to what you have today? What kind of like, hey, this is what we should do. This is what we should call ourselves. This is what's about us. How did that come out to be?
Well, okay, so Lauren Coleman, the one who basically encouraged us to do this, and really hoped that we would. We actually have heard since then that he was telling other people that he really thought that we would be the ones to get close to Bigfoot. We've heard that now, like, really? He said that? That's so cool. Yeah. And he was taking credit and like being proud that he was part of starting us out, and because he was really the inspiration that happened there. So yeah, we love Lauren. Anyway,
cool.
So when I told Jenna, she was on board right away. Then Jenna and Tammi didn't know each other. They were my best friends, but they didn't know each other. But I invited Tammi to join us, and it didn't work out for her to join us right away. But then when she was able to, she did join us. So at first it was Jenna and I, and then Tammi joined us, and we became the perfect trifecta, this triangle of women. And our energy just grows when we're together. I should tell you that we believe that we are soul sisters, like we are what people call soulmates. But when people say that word, they get this romantic idea in their head, and really you have a lot of soulmates on the planet at the same time, and they're literally just pieces of your soul that had broken off and are having different lives. And so literally they're me in another body having another experience. So when we're together, we feel stronger, our energy is better, we know more. And it's fun to walk through like a psychic event type thing, and people have literally, other psychics are like, whoa, because our energy goes whoom 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 when we're together.
So when you say that, does that when people kind of notice that, does that kind of like just become like, wow, there's this charisma with you ladies, or is it more like, or like, I'm a bit intimidated because they're awesome, like how I'm feeling right now, because you ladies are awesome.
Funny.
I listen, honestly, I'm usually not a very giddy, shy guy, but I'm actually I'm still nervous. I apologize, so forgive me for that. They call me Cute Lopez once in a while when I have a good day. But it sounds like that people really notice that when you all, it's like this magnetic energy. It sounds like with you three, there's this where you all three really complement each other in such great ways that it's not just that you feel it, but everybody feels it around you. Am I kind of accurate about that when it comes to people?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So I have a question for you, and this is going to put you two ladies in the spot because Tammy's not here. What is Tammi like? Like, what's her personality? I heard about her, but about who she is. But what is she like as a person?
She is amazing. She says what she's going to do, and she does it. She doesn't fall short, and she works her butt off in life, as well as has just as much fun off work. So she's just all together. She's all the right pieces to be fun, loving, strong, compassionate, and fabulous.
Assertive.
Assertive. She's very assertive.
Tammi is the most assertive person that I know. And when I first met Tammi as an adult, because we met as children once, but when I first met her as an adult, I was so not assertive that assertiveness almost seemed abrasive to me.
Yeah.
But what the problem was, it was me. I wasn't assertive at all. I had like zero assertive in my bones. And so I needed that from Tammi. I needed to learn how to be more like that, to set my boundaries and hold them and, you know, say it like it is. I'm very much of a put some sugar on it type of girl.
Yeah.
You know, when we were doing psychic readings and stuff, Tammi was the quick, she's going to say it how it is. This is how it is. And however you take it is how you take it. She's just going to tell you. Me, I know how it is, but I'm going to put some sugar on it so it goes down a little easier.
Okay, Jen, what would you say I am?
You're a lot like me. I think.
Okay.
You're a lot like me.
Not as sweet. I mean, you're sweet. You are so sweet to everybody.
You don't think you're sweet? Well, no,
Well,
your block finger comes out.
Okay, ladies.
My block finger.
I'm
This is my block finger.
Here. I'm picturing the Spice Girls right now. You know, like which one's the mean Spice? Which one's the scary Spice? Which one's the baby Spice?
Always sporty Spice.
Yeah, the sporty.
That is sporty Spice for sure.
Oh my goodness! Oh Lord! Oh my gosh! I'm sure ladies are a hoot. So when you all formed the She-Squatchers as official, like supernatural adventures, right? What any adventures and stories that really as like resonate with you that you like to share, that like these are some of the experiences we had that just something I just cannot forget. Anything that kind of sticks out to your mind, but you guys experienced all three together.
Oh, there's so many things. Yeah. I think what my favorite thing that happened for me was when, I mean, whenever I've seen Bigfoot, that was a huge thing for me. But when I saw Bigfoot close in the daytime, it was at Randy's. Both times I've seen Bigfoot out in the daytime, it was at Randy's. But there was one time we were there, we were filming the documentary, Searching for Sasquatch 10, which you can watch on Tubi.
Yep.
We were standing by our tent, which we placed really on the opposite side of the property than Randy's house, and Randy has a huge property. I'm standing by the tent with Michael Quast, who wrote the book about Randy's place.
Yep.
It's like Sasquatch Central is the name of the book, by Mike Quast. Anyway, so I was standing there talking to Mike, and I got that feeling like somebody's staring at you. You know, that feeling. And, you know, when I say that, I always hope that everybody else has those feelings and it's not just a psychic thing. But you know that feeling of somebody's staring at you, and you follow that feeling and you look in that direction and you lock eyes with that person who's staring. Well, that happened when I was standing there with Mike. I had felt like somebody was staring at me, and so I just turned my head to look in the direction that I felt it coming from, and I locked eyes with a Bigfoot just inside the woods.
Wow.
And it was, you know, 30 to 50 feet away from me at that moment, and it was a big black one, and the look on its face went just like, I know that's what my face did too, because I locked eyes with it, and then it like jumped back, and when it did, the trees that it was standing behind just started whipping back and forth like that really hard. And Mike saw the trees start whipping immediately because he saw me react, and he looked that way and he saw the trees, but he didn't get to see what made that happen. And then the other people in the group that were standing nearby, they looked too, and they saw the movement of the trees. So I was the only one that got to see what made that movement. But for me, that was just really special because, I mean, that was fairly close. I could see the face. It was pretty awesome.
Would you say what that when you saw that, was it more of just like surprised and scared, excited? Like, was there a mix of everything emotionally at that moment? I know it's kind of like on the spot, but anything
For me,
yeah.
What I felt, I wasn't scared at all. I was excited.
Yeah.
I felt really blessed to have seen it and locked eyes with this Bigfoot. I mean, I locked eyes with it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, even if it was just for a moment, but yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. For me, that's been the best, I think, if I had to choose just one thing, other than just being with my favorite people in the world. So that's
Bigfoot trumps everybody. Yeah.
What?
I said Bigfoot trumps everything with friends. You see that? Yeah, I saw our lady. So, I saw Bigfoot. Like, yeah, you guys, yeah, they trump that. Anyways, what about you, Jenna? Anything that resonates with you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we had been. Where were we when I saw Tom?
We were in Washington we were at an event in Washington. I'm not sure which one it was.
Washington State, by the way, just curious.
Yeah, Washington State. It might have been the Sasquatch Summit.
Whereabouts in Washington? Sorry.
Sasquatch Summit is Ocean Shores, Washington.
Okay, that's more of the west. That's definitely more of the west side of Washington. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
So anyway, we had, everybody had gone out, all the speakers and everybody came out. We all went out to lunch or supper after everything was done.
No, it wasn't. It was Yakima, at the Yakima Bigfoot Conference. That's where we were.
Right.
Oh, Yakima,
right.
really?
Yeah, we were speaking at Yakima.
Okay.
Thank you.
That was the one.
So anyway, we were all sitting at this table. It was a long oblong table. And so anyway, Tom, a friend of ours, Tom Cantrell, he was sitting at the end of the table because he was in a wheelchair. So he just pulled up right at the end. And I was sitting just like kitty corner from him. And he was talking and I was watching him. And all of a sudden, a Bigfoot comes out of his face. And I'm like, and I looked away. I was like, and I was so scared. I looked away, and then I looked at it again, and it was there. Like, it didn't leave. It was still there. Because when you see something, you think, I'll look away, and then it won't be there. And then you look away again, and it's still there. And it's like, oh. So I turned and looked for the third time. So Tom Cantrell, let me tell you this. He is an author, and he says that Bigfoot is actually coming through him to help him write books. Well, I didn't believe that. Mm-hmm. So I think at that table, I was shown differently to shut up and listen. So I actually saw a Bigfoot coming out of his face. I don't know if it was travel or what it was, but he came right through. His face came right through Tom's, and it scared the living tar out of me. That was one of my scariest moments.
Wow!
And I still think it's so amazing.
I've never heard something like that before.
Well, can I tell you something?
Yeah, go for it.
Before that, people were coming up to me going, I have a Bigfoot in me. And I was like, oh, very nice. Oh, yeah, you look really solid. And they'd say, no, really, it comes through me. And I never allowed myself to actually look because we've always been so busy. And now I'm ready to look. You know what I mean? I've seen, and so I want to see more. So now if people come up to me, I definitely want to look and see if I can see anything, because what I saw was so unexplainable.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, it's and thanks for sharing that. And when my brain's racking a bit because it's not because it's not believable. It's not because it's not believable. It's because, when I first talked with Randy, because I'm just kind of reminiscing of stuff when I talked many times. And if he's not the first person, especially when I started this podcast, before I got into Bigfoot, or like before I got into the depths of Bigfoot, especially start with Randy, it's always been like, it's a bipedal being that's just a missing link of humanity. But more talk with Randy and now talk with you ladies, and also talking to the person I had this morning at 7 a.m., which I text Jen on. I sent her a video, and I'm just like, tired. Is that it seems very more interdimensional. And when I say interdimensional, because Randy's very about that too, is that what makes it not be interdimensional when it comes to somebody? We don't know. I mean, interdimensional itself is a whole possible opportunities, right? And maybe they can cross over, not because they're in them. I don't know what you can call it. Maybe because they just cross that.
But they're conduit.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Exactly. And so, I mean, it's an interesting theory with that. And so that is fascinating. Wow. I just, so let me ask you this with both you ladies. When it comes to, Jen, you saw Bigfoot. Jenna, you saw Bigfoot through a person.
I also saw it when I was with Jen too. We saw.
Okay.
Sorry, go on.
No, you're fine. Features wise, like in any description, like face, Jen, come on, Lord, I'm gonna lose my mind. Sorry, Jen with the eyes and the circles of her eyes. Jenna, you're funny. I like it. It's great. You feel awesome.
Sorry.
What can you guys give us descriptions on like facial features and any of that sorts? Like some people just think it's more like apish and so forth. Other people say it's more humanish. What's your guys' experience?
Can I mention, from what I saw coming through Tom, I didn't see a lot down here, but I saw up here. And I tell people because it was the strangest thing. I noticed because it was so particular. The hairline went straight across. There was no, how we've got the, straight across.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh my gosh, you're Bigfoot. You got straight across. No, I'm kidding.
No, that's my Uncle Brian.
Oh.
I had to shoot that in there because I send them this podcast stuff. They get so pissed when I say he looks like Bigfoot. It's great. Sorry.
Hi, Brian. Bigfoot Brian.
I'm going to let him know. I was like, dude, you can shout out again for the 7th.
Oh, what's his last name? No, I'm kidding.
Martino.
No. I was supposed to say
Martino.
No, he's fine. He lives in North Carolina. I don't care. I'm getting it anyways.
Fabulous.
He's fine. He's fine. What's he going to do? Fly over to Washington and beat me up? Maybe, but that's worth it. Totally worth it.
Maybe, but you just call us and we'll take care of it. We'll have Tammi take care of it.
I told him I got the 3 psychics, man. They're going to beat you up
Mentally.
and they put the fear of God in me already.
Mwah.
Anyways, enough about me being stupid. So you talk about the hair crossing and anything else
the forehead and the hair itself. Do you remember how Fonzie used to comb his hair back like this and it was like this?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the hair all went back like this. Like it was like, yeah, it was just straight back. It was like slicked almost. And I just thought, that's so weird too. But as far as other features down here, I wasn't able to. I don't remember.
Okay.
But Jen, what are your thoughts?
So the one that I saw, it was black in color. The one that I saw just inside the tree line was black in color. And its skin was also dark colored.
Okay.
But it had more human features. It didn't look like ape to me. It looked very human-like, but very dark colored. Very dark colored.
Okay. All right.
So, and it was very quick, and I just remember it jumped back. So I mean, I wish we could have had a little bit longer look at each other, but.
Well, and it's not easy. So the reason I asked that question, and it's funny because I know people will say out there, well, you saw Bigfoot, why can't you describe them? They're like, well, I have this kind of feature. It's not easy to describe something when it's something you're not expecting, and me working in the financial field, just for example, and I want people to understand this out there, our brains are not time machines. They're memory machines. Descriptions can be distorted because of something you're not expecting. I've been through a robbery once, right, in the banking world, and I won't forget the description I made of the person. This guy had a gun to my head, like for 6 months in the banking, and I had the color of his clothes totally wrong. Right, so it's so for you both to just give even that description is great and incredible, because to me that's not an easy thing to do. So kudos to you to just even go that far. So I just want to point that out with people out there who may call that as BS. You know what? Until you go through shocking stuff, either good or bad trauma, or experiences that are just not the norm, good luck trying to remember everything, because your brain tries to protect you as much as possible, and how stress reacts your body. That's what our brain does. So I want to put that side note in there. So again, I want to compliment you ladies on top of that. I hope that is okay to say that. And what about Tammi? Anything that she had that you ladies may share that might, if she was here, you can speak on her behalf, that's been an experience for her?
I think that she always says her favorite one was when we were in Tennessee. We were doing a conference in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And they had set up so that big people could go out with us Bigfoot researchers and hike during the day in a Bigfoot location. Mm-hmm. I had bronchitis, so I didn't go because we figured me hiking up on a mountain probably wasn't good when I was struggling to breathe. So they went without me, and I said, well, send me the GPS coordinates when you get there and I'll remote view the area. So they did, and so I'm sitting in the hotel while they're out hiking in the mountains with all these people, and Matthew Delph was the researcher who chose the location because it was his home area. And so I'm looking at the coordinates while they're out there, and I was seeing Bigfoots here and Bigfoots there on my remote view. So I was keeping track of where they were, and then when they were done, we got together for dinner. And I was showing them the spots that I was seeing Bigfoot, and they were seeing it there too. So we decided to go back up there together, the four of us. Us three and Matthew Delph went up there in the dark, and we went to the top of this mountain and parked the car. And before we got out of the car, I grabbed my phone and I'm like, do I still have signal? And I did. And so I remote viewed and I asked the question, is there anything here right now? And I saw a Bigfoot 30 feet from the car. And it was so dark you couldn't see that way, but on the remote view I could see it. And I said, it's 30 feet that way. There's one 30 feet that way. Tammi grabbed Jenna's FLIR thermal camera, and she didn't really know how to use it because, you know, it's Jenna's. And it was dark, but she knew how to turn it on. So she's looking at it. She's like, I see it. And she's hitting all the buttons trying to figure out how to record. She's like, how do you make this thing record? And in the meantime, she's watching it. Yeah. And it lifts its arm up like this, and it scratches its elbow.
And she said the hair was just falling off. Like the long hair.
Yeah.
Kind of shedding away when it's scratching.
Yep. No, it was just hanging down. And she
hanging. Okay. So okay.
Yeah, the hair was just hanging down, and it reached over and scratched its elbow, and then went back to doing what it was doing. And we think it was skinning an animal or something. Because the setting, because Jenna, when Jenna took it and turned it to record, then we got like, was it 18 minutes of footage of this on the top of the mountain. And and we had it set to black hot, and a black hot setting on a thermal will show skin will look a dark gray or black, but hair shows up as stark white. And so we're seeing this white thing. But what it was working with, because we could see its arms moving and doing something, it was working with something that had a body temperature and no fur. So we think it was skinning something.
Yeah, we thought at the time, it was sitting on its, on like cross-legged and skinning something.
Because we could only see it from the waist up.
Yeah.
And Matthew went...
Sorry, sorry, go ahead. Sorry. Oh, gotcha. Good. Sorry. It's like Bigfoot cross-legged. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry about that, but go ahead.
So Matthew went back there the next day and looked at that spot, and right there there was a drop off right there, and enough where it could have been standing there using that as a shelf, like a kitchen counter. So if it was standing there, we could only see it from the waist up.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting. And was there anything left over when you got back? Was there anything? Like you said, it's supposedly skin. Was there any, like, I mean, I'm not sure if there's any evidence you've seen or anything that you could find that something was there.
We were 30 feet from it, and we did not approach it.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, okay.
30 feet was close enough.
Yeah, it definitely knew we were there. Otherwise, it would have stopped, and it knew we were there, and it allowed us to take that footage. And whether
it understood what footage was or anything like that, it didn't run away from us, but we didn't try to approach it either.
That's interesting you talk about the footage part, because Randy, again, I'm speaking something you both already know, talks about the whole footage on his property, how the Bigfoot, I don't want to say it because I want to respect this beautiful being, does not like being filmed, or that's what I'm assuming. It's about that relationship piece. It sounds like, just talking with Randy. So with that being said, that must have been. Oops, hold on. Did I visualize? Can you see? Oh, there we go. I just
there you are.
Sorry about that. So with that being said, would you say that it was a privilege that you think that the Bigfoot allowed you to film there?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Very much so. That footage, you don't get just that footage without, that many minutes.
So here's a question for you with that footage, because it's so, and forgive me because I'm thinking here, because you're thinking, and I'm thinking, people are like, well, why don't you put that on the internet? Why don't you put this out there? Why
It's
don't
on
you
the
go?
internet.
It's
Yeah.
out.
Oh, it is. Okay. All right. And have you had any comments in regards to it? Have people, like, what's the feedback that you had?
Well, first of all, it's a thermal image. So,
Okay.
I mean, it's not crystal clear. You're not going to
Okay.
get a crystal clear thermal image. That's,
Okay.
and especially at the price point that we're at. I mean, we're not a super expensive network quality thermal camera type of people. We would love to be putting it out there. We'd love to have
Hey,
that.
we all do. Trust me, I get it. I just
Right?
barely bought a spirit box. Okay. All right.
Oh,
I barely bought a spirit box, and I'm a big. Happens to get divorced, man. All right. So, and by the way, my ex-wife, she's a good person. She's grandmother. She's not a mean person. I'm gonna put that out there.
Oh.
That's just a part of life that happens. But anyway, sorry.
We love you, ex-wife.
Yeah, her name is Jennifer Lopez.
I thought you meant. I thought you were making a joke.
His
You know,
last
like
name is
Jennifer Lopez.
No, her last name. Well, she hasn't changed her last name, but it's still Jennifer Lopez.
Oh,
that's so
we're
cool.
Jennifer too. We are both Jennifer.
Yes,
Why
we
are you scared?
are.
Huh?
Why do you think I'm scared? Why do you think I'm scared?
That's why he's nervous. He's like, oh no, there's two Jens.
Anyways, I'm sorry. So basically, God, I'm so sorry. Again, I'm still nervous. This is so embarrassing.
You're awesome. We love it.
This is my most embarrassing interview ever. This is great. Oh my God. Anyways, so going back, so you have the thermal film out there, and so forth, and what's been the feedback putting that film out there? Has it been good, bad, indifferent, a little bit of mixture?
It's been good. It's been good. It's been good. People have enjoyed it a lot. Of course, there's always going to be skeptics out there, and I can't blame them because we're skeptical too.
Oh, we are so. I didn't believe in Bigfoot for so long, and Jen was like, Jenna, we're getting evidence. We've had this and this and this, but it didn't click. It didn't click yet, and she was getting angry. She was like, "Don't tell people."
Annoying. It was annoying, Chris.
I bet.
Like, how can you say you don't believe? You don't know for sure when we're finding footprints, trackways, and it was annoying.
There was questions. There was too many ifs. What ifs?
You know what? Here's a fun question for you, ladies. You've done. It sounds like you travel quite a bit, did conferences and conventions and so forth. Has there, without calling them out, has there been ones who've spoken? You're like, no, that's kind of not. That's kind of like trying to create something where it's like I had this experience of Bigfoot and try to make something where it's not, or like have you seen that? Have you experienced that yourself when it comes to people who try to make it more fantastical or try to fake things, and how does that I'm assuming again I can see your faces that yes without calling them out. And have you ever approached these individuals or just left it be?
Here's the thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, it's a late question. I'm just curious.
I was just going to say the same thing.
We don't participate in that because there's so much meanness in the Bigfoot community when it's like people will just say the meanest things. And a lot of times people are like, what do you think of so-and-so? Do you think they're a hoaxer? And I'm like, you know what? You're smart enough to make that decision for yourself. You don't need me to tell you that they're a hoaxer. Okay. You can decide that for yourself, and I'm not going to play part in that game at all. We just don't do it. However, there is one thing that we will weigh in on.
Okay.
The crap that was said about Bob Gimlin having a massacre at the Patty location, that is absolute BS.
Really?
Yeah, that's BS. He did not. There was no massacre. And I'm going to tell you how I know that for a fact. Okay. I've listened to Bob tell his story. I know Bob. I've met the guy in person, hearing him telling that story. If there had been a massacre, the energy of that memory would have been underneath everything he said, and I would have felt that.
Gotcha.
But there was none of that there. There was none of that there. So that all that stuff that people have concocted into thinking that there was some type of massacre and that they killed Patty and other Bigfoots and no, that did not happen.
Wow.
And I will
Bob,
say that.
and I think we all three will. Bob is such a beautiful person. His heart is real. He's a good man. You just don't feel, you feel the goodness when you're around him, and he gives the best hugs. So how can you dislike that?
Well, now forgive me for this. I'm thinking, is it that the video of the Gimlin film with the Bigfoot walk? Is that what it is?
Yep.
I'll tell you, I've watched. So it's the same person. I know there's like one person who came out saying, "Well, that was me." Like some older gentleman said, "That was me." And the Bigfoot. I'll tell you this. Listen to Gimlin talk. I just don't get that sense either. It's just you trust that human instinct, and I know you both got superpowers. I don't, but I think we're all human beings. It's like you trust that human instinct. You read body language. They're consistent with the story, and I agree with you on that. And that footage is incredible, by the way. And the technology nowadays to really make it still. I mean, it looks like a female Sasquatch. I mean, you could see the I mean, I don't know, tell you. I'm sure you've seen it. The features is incredible. Like, how do you do something like that? And the natural movements is just incredible.
Well, even the muscle movement in the body was not faked.
Yeah, you can't fake that in a suit.
No, you can't.
You can see the origin and insertion of the muscles, movement. I mean, you can't fake that. Anybody who's super familiar with anatomy and physiology that watches that when they cleaned up the film, when they digitally remastered it, and they cleaned it up, and you could literally see the muscle movement. Anybody who's really familiar with anatomy can look at that and go, that's really how the body moves.
Yeah, and it was back in late '60s, early '70s, right? Right. So yeah, so we didn't have that time. I mean, I remember again. I was born in the early '80s, but I remember watching Bonanza and $6 Million Man. We was fighting Bigfoot. There was nothing like that kind of stage effect, that kind of costume. It just doesn't make sense because it wasn't just the muscles. It was just how the shade of the body looked. It was too natural, in my opinion. And I mean, so yeah. So I know we're running to 50 minutes here because I could talk forever with you ladies, but I don't want to take you too much of your time. Here's a question for you. This is probably a bad question because this can go on forever. How did you guys meet Randy? That beautiful man. How did you meet him?
I was at the Minnesota Bigfoot Conference by myself.
Wow, there's some inside things going on there. I don't know.
By myself.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you gotta do things alone, honey.
Oh my goodness! I really want to know, but I won't put in the podcast. But I really want to know. That's the hairstyle.
No, it's all good. We love each other.
It was my first conference that I wasn't speaking at. So It was the first conference I attended that I wasn't speaking at. And I was just really excited to be there as a person attending the event. So we didn't have a booth. I wasn't like I was working the event I was attending the event as just an attendee, going to watch the speakers and listen and just take it in as a regular person. And Jenna was unable to come with me, so I thought I was there incognito in my regular clothes, just hanging out as a regular person in the back, listening to what people had to share. Well, Michael Quast was there, Mike Quast, the book author. Yep. I know him. And he kept telling me that there's this man that he wanted to introduce me to, and he happened to be there. So he brought him over to talk with me, and I instantly had a connection with Randy, and he wanted us to come out. And so we made plans. Jen and I made plans for us to go out and check out his location. We were thinking of doing a documentary in the state of Minnesota, but we needed to scout locations before we committed to locations of where we were going to bring the film crew. So Jenna and I went out to Randy's just to scout it out, and we just had a great time out there, and we both had our very first daytime out in the open sighting of Bigfoot at Randy's place.
Wow. Oh.
Needless to say, we decided to go there and record our documentary.
See, this is more the reason why I will get back to you, Jen, about those dates, and if I had to switch, because I really want to meet all of you, because it's not just about, oh, I just want to see Bigfoot. I'm all about relationships too, and to me, it's about creating a community of something that we can all experience. Me, I hate you both. You guys are, gosh dang it, man. I'm so jealous of both of you ladies. Oh, good Lord. Both beautiful and awesome. And I don't, and have great supernatural experiences. Me, I'm just this mild-mannered, like Mexican Clark Kent. But
Clark Kent, you're awesome.
No, but oh wow, that's cool. And I will tell you this: when I first started the podcast, and I was putting it's funny. I didn't know where it was going to go. I started it when I was, I got my official divorce and separation. I was like, I need something healthy to do, and I was interested into doing supernatural stuff. It's like, I can do podcasts, listen to podcasts all the time. And I was sending out to different groups I joined. That Randy hits me up. I'm like, dude, let's do it. Let's join. And I won't forget when I first did not an interview with him officially, but talking to him. And he's like, let me tell you something. And hold on, wait a second. And this happened. I'm like, dude, this guy's awesome. Like, this guy has so much energy, I can't keep up. And he's older than me. Holy Lord. But anyways, wow.
Wait till you're in the woods with him and you try to keep up with him then. That man can't book.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, he's used to walking that property. So sometimes you're walking over logs and things you can't even see what you're walking in. And he's just like, boom, boom, boom. It's like, go, Randy, go, Randy. But we lose him sometimes. He's quick.
I bet he is, man. I bet he is. He's got that perfect dome head too, man. I'm telling you, it's beautiful. I shaved my head once, and it was terrible. And my hair's curly because my bald head is curly. I don't know. But anyways,
I love it.
But no, so sorry about that. I guess that I'm still nervous. My God, this is gonna be a terrible episode for me, but great for you guys. So.
You know we adore you, right?
Oh, stop it.
No, you're awesome.
Thank you.
Say it again.
I appreciate it. Well, I'm hoping to be a guest on yours. That'll be fun. I won't be as nervous. I'm at least more of. But, I know we're 55 minutes to 2. And before we end, I want to talk a little afterwards, if that's okay. But with all this experience, which I don't think this episode will do it justice, with your next venture that you're doing your guys' life, what are you hoping to accomplish? What are you hoping to do, or anything particular that there's an agenda for you, ladies? And that, yeah.
As the She-Squatchers?
I'm going to quote Tammi. I'm going to quote Tammi. We want to do all the things, and we want to find all the things. We want to experience all the things.
I like it. And by the way, I'll make sure I'm making a mark here: 54 to 56.
Okay.
You're so funny.
The means, don't worry about it. It's totally fine. It's code for us 3.
Okay.
But anyways, all right, ladies, hang tight. Everybody, thank the She-Squatchers. I'll definitely put a link, if that's okay for you ladies, for your link and everything for people to join on. Everybody, if you have questions, comments, insults, or if you need a date, bound234@gmail.com. I would definitely love that. I'm feeling pretty confident right now. Also, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, Audible, and Buzzsprouts. And until next time, everybody have a great night, and see you on the other side. Good night.